Don't get me wrong, there have been some great adaptations in the world recently. TV, even in movies, for better or for worse. But this is one of the ones that just has me asking, why?
How many more deaths do you have in you?
Nobody's made it past 13 nights.
If we want to survive, we have to make it until dawn.
What is that?
And today we have Until Dawn. Seeing as how this is technically based off of an S-tier horror game, I also have another wearing a shirt based off another S-tier horror game. If you know, you know. If you don't, get to learning. It's weird because we saw the trailer for Until Dawn, and the first thing I thought was, that's not the game. Like, it's not. Aside from having Peter Stormare, an actor who has a very important and iconic role in the Until Dawn game, and I guess the idea of dying repeatedly in an attempt to get it done right kinda technically is Until Dawn if you apply that concept to a full playthrough of the game. First trailer premiered, I wasn't very impressed, wasn't very excited, not looking forward to it. Second trailer premiered, and I was like, wait a second, what is this? This is a commercial for Nashville Nightmare right here. Going to be a movie apparently. Today we're going to be talking about why Until Dawn admittedly is not a complete piece of shit. I'll admit that, but man, I hesitate to call it good. Like, I tolerated its presence, but man, it's not really a great flick. Until Dawn is the sixth official film by director David F. Sandberg. I don't know his name either, don't worry. You might know some of his movies though. His first full feature film was Lights Out. And if you don't know what Lights Out is, it's a, pretty okay horror film based around a really good short film. You can watch it on YouTube. Short film about this creature that looks like a human but definitely is not fully human and will show up only when you turn the lights out. For me, a very scary short film because we all have that fear of turning off the lights and because something could get you. I heard Annabelle Creation was not great. He did do the first Shazam, which I heard was actually good, and I heard the sequel is not good. So good to okay, and now here we are with Until Dawn. I don't know anybody on this cast, which I like that idea because the state of the industry nowadays is that there's several big names, and I feel like it shuts out opportunity for new blood. I do like how you have a film with a bunch of cast that I've never heard of or seen before. That's cool, but the downside of that is that when I go to the IMDb and I see they're involved in a bunch of, mediocre to okay things, that also is cause for concern. Debatedly, our two main leads, Ella Rubin, who, it's funny, I looked up her IMDb and the first thing it was Honora, and I'm like, what do you mean Honora? I didn't recognize her in Honora. Her roommate, maybe sister.
Yo, did you pick up milk?
I'll be back on Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday.
Correct.
That's a week.
She's in two scenes that both last less than 10 seconds. And then I don't know what it was, but I liked him, Michael Cimino. I wasn't familiar with the name. I don't know. I liked him, in the movie enough. Known for his role in Love, Victor, which I assume is either a prequel or a sequel to Love, Simon. It's got to be in the same universe. He was in Annabelle Goes Home, which makes sense that the director of Annabelle Creation probably picked him up from another Annabelle movie. So there you go. And then, of course, like I said, Peter Stormare, who has a bigger role in the film than it turns out, but still not quite as iconic as his. I mean, he is playing the same character. If you don't know, Until Dawn is a game that came out definitely a while ago. I actually have a full virgin playthrough of it from when it came out and when my channel was still blossoming and not the highest quality content, but I did technically record my playthrough of it. Oh, why? And it's just iconic for a number of reasons. It both embraces the tropes involved in the horror genre while also subverting expectations. It's decision based, so literally you have your team of kids. This is before the Dark Pictures games, the episodic ones. This is before The Quarry, that was the more recent release. But it's also after, Telltale games. So it's like a horror focused, like 80s horror vibes almost, with the same mechanics that a Telltale game would have. You have your crew of kids that are from likable to hateable, and then over the course of the game, the course of this evening, events unfold where you're forced to try to get these kids to survive until dawn, and you keep them alive or get them killed. All of them can live, all of them can die by the end of the game. I love it to death. I've played it so many times. I've watched it be played even more, and they wanted to make a movie out of it. But for the sake of the movie, the premise is like this group of friends are traveling, and it turns out the main character is looking for her sister. I'm definitely going to spoil stuff, by the way. She's actually looking for her sister under the guise of this trip, and they end up, it's like a welcome center thing, and it used to be a town, but it's not anymore. And when they get there, all of a sudden, this killer shows up, takes them all out, very quick succession, one after the other. They're all dead. And then all of a sudden, this like clock thing in the main room, this hourglass clock timer, resets. They're all brought back to life, but they remember kind of what happened. And that's the movie. If they can't escape, if they try to escape, either something else kills them, or if they try to like drive out of there, there's then this troll thing in the distance. They have to survive until dawn.
If we want to survive, we have to make it until dawn.
And if they do, theoretically, this curse won't affect them. They can escape, but they keep dying. And then if even one of them dies, then they're like, okay, well, the town claims there has to be a sacrifice. So they say, okay, well, we give it one person, then we get to get out of here. But of course, the main character is like, no, we can't leave him behind. We gotta all survive until dawn. And there you have your movie. Like, it's not the plot of Until Dawn. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not the plot of the game. But I get what they're trying to go for. If you look at Until Dawn as an experience in a game, and it's like, okay, well, if you die at any point, if you lose characters, then, the game doesn't reset right there. You have to accept your fate unless you, try to quit the game before what happened fully saves. Now you can, do another playthrough and try to save everybody. But in the movie, it's something different trying to kill them, and then some similar familiar things might show back up. But it spices it up, and it keeps trying to throw different things from horror movies and genres at them to kill them in different methods, right? In the game, there are definitely many ways to die. There are different things that can kill these kids. Your decisions are the only thing that'll change. If you look at it as, okay, I'm just replaying this game, trying to get a different outcome, then yeah, the movie is the same thing, but characters are different except for the doctor, the good doctor by Peter Stormare. There are Wendigos in the movie, which is what also ends up being in the game. There is that Jigsaw-esque killer with the weird face mask and the overalls. He's in the movie, but not in the same capacity as the game. An argument my friend made is that there's a VR game that came out after Until Dawn that's a prequel to it, and it's supposed to add to the story about, okay, well, the asylum and the experiments they were doing, but it also kind of changes the lore of Until Dawn a little. There's so many different directions I could take this review in, but it's not the game. It's got the spiritual nature of the game, kind of, the mechanics of it. Judging by the trailer, I thought it was going to be a pretty bad time, but it wasn't terrible. Not a great movie. I hesitate to even call it good. I enjoyed myself in that it was entertaining. I laughed a lot, but not because the movie's full of comedy. There's some dark comedic moments that made me chuckle, but the laughter's a byproduct of my incredulity, I would say. Practical effects, this was a surprising bit, and I gotta stick by my own values. This film had some gory kills, I don't know if I'd call it creative per se. There's even a section in this movie where it's very much oh, somebody watched Ready or Not, and now here we go. There were definitely some violent kills that were done practically. You can tell that the FX department had a fun time with it, so props there and credit. Speaking of giving credit where credit's due, there are lots of Easter eggs. And there's even one scene where you see a file on his desk and it literally has Joshua Washington, Josh's name, and his picture. And that just confused and kind of infuriated me even more, because I'm like, you're going to acknowledge character from the other game, but try to imply that the game we played is only one of many games that AJ Hill is playing in the grand scheme of what actually is going on in Until Dawn. And I don't like that angle too much. And there were even in-game moments, like especially trying to hide from a Wendigo and like be still, be quiet, don't be seen or heard. There were little moments here and there in the movie that reminded me of like, oh yeah, that's a section I would have played through in the game. That's a location I would have gone through. You can find items, pick them up. If you interact with the wrong thing, it can kill you. It was cool. There were little Easter eggs like that I appreciated. My first note I put was not my Until Dawn. As much as I appreciate what they were trying to do, I'm always happy to see video games that I love be adapted. The attempt is there, the execution is not how I would have preferred. I do know people literally who enjoyed this movie. I also know people who hated this movie. Some of the people that were responsible for making Until Dawn, they went and did their own thing called the Dark Pictures Anthology, and it's only one season's out so far. It's 4 games, and the new season's about to start later this year with Directive 2088, I think. There are 4 games of varying degrees of quality, but the premise is the same, is that it's a new cast of characters in each one, new story, new setting, all of it is horror, and you can either do it solo or with a group of friends and try to survive through each of the different adventures. Like I think if this movie was an adaptation of like the Dark Pictures Anthology, okay, take that premise, then make it into a movie, because that's the whole idea, is that it's what they're implying in the movie is that there are multiple situations throughout the world that are similar to what our current cast is going through. So the acting isn't bad across the board, but it's certainly not great or fantastic. There are some lines that are delivered very oddly. There are some moments that I was like, oh, I buy her sadness, or oh, I buy this character's fear. It's just inconsistent. That's the thing. I can't say it's overall good or bad. It's just, a little bit of both. A ton of jump scares, which I knew going into this movie. It's that type of film you can tell based on the trailer. It's going to be full of jump scares, and it just is. There's some legitimately creepy moments in this film. I like a few of them here and there, which to be fair, the Until Dawn game back in the day, it had its fair share of jump scares. Right, I don't care, go! No! Big one for me as well. Our protagonist, and the relationship with the sister she's looking for is like so undercooked, so underdeveloped. We get one flashback scene to try to fill in their relationship, and then by the end of it you find out her sister's already succumbed to the curse, and so she just has to like mercy kill her sister. Her sister is only a conduit for her, if you even want to call it a character arc, like for her path through this game. She just exists. Could have been a cool emotional core of the film. You're following the protagonist, the gal, kind of going on a arc of sorts, but barely. But definitely the relationship with the sister, that's supposed to be the impetus for why she's even there, is just a plot device to get her out there. There's so many better horror movies you could watch, even from this year alone. It was a movie. It's alright. I'd give it like a low 3 out of 5. A low 3 out of 5, which, based on my own scale, it certainly is a below average film, but it's not complete horseshit. If you want to really experience what this movie is advertising or trying to advertise, play the game. Don't play the remaster. Like, don't do that. Like, whatever you do, it's not a good remaster. That's all I gotta say about Until Dawn. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. Goodbye, travelers.